Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Dave in here with Play Creatively, and I want to tell you why I've been gone for a while. My last video came out June. It's now November. I've never gone this long on making a video, either for Worship Leader Hangout, which is where we got started, and here with Play Creatively. Frankly, I got burned out on YouTube, and there are a lot of reasons for that. YouTube was a blessing for me, has been, still is. Been able to. A lot of you have purchased my piano courses, and that's really been a huge blessing. But frankly, it never. I got into it for the financial gain, and the financial gain just never arrived at the point to where I wanted it to. And so, because I was burned out on it. I decided, okay, it's time for me to take a break and pursue the thing I loved, what got me loving music, which was creating music. And so lately I have been more so focused on producing and making music. And so I want to share some of that journey with you. Lately, October 15th, less than a month ago, still, I came out with an album, just a little lo-fi EP. It's an instrumental album, and it's really inspired by just some things in my life. So I live in the city of Dallas. One of the songs is called Dallas. We're going to look at that song today. Another one is called Twins. I got twin boys. Another one is really, it's an instrumental, but it has some clips of one of the only sermons I have of my dad recorded. He's still alive. It's not like he didn't record other sermons. It just turns out to be the only one I had access to. And I was like, man, this would be perfect. And then there's another one on there. And so just been exploring the creative side of music, and it's really been inspiring me. And so today we're going to look at the song Dallas and how I made it and just go through really every track. And so here we go. Woo! Lovely. That's a snippet for you. Okay, so I really like lo-fi. If you've watched some of my videos in the past, I've actually talked about it, but I've never talked about the fact that, I had been making lo-fi beats for some time, never put any out there. And I would just make them, not even think about, okay, where I was storing them. I just really like it. And so I decided, to make that album. I actually only gave myself maybe 2 weeks to go ahead and push it out. And so what do I start with in making these tracks? Well, drums and percussion, extremely important. And so here's my drums and percussion track, and these are both samples. Now I want to give credit to where these came from. So my drum sample, it came from just, if you type in the Tribute Volume 2, you can go ahead and look it up. And I mean, this was an extremely good drum sample pack for only $30. And so I highly recommend it. And then I got the percussion loop from Splice. And so these are those two together. Drums are the foundation. So you got to have good drums. And I'm actually a drummer first, and yes, I can make drums, but I don't want to spend my time when I'm producing a song on the drums. Not the majority of my time anyway. When I'm making a song, I want to spend it on the other musical elements. Don't want to say the musical elements like drums aren't music, but I wanted to spend it on like the chords and the melody and the bass. And so I spent a lot of time on those, believe it or not. And so I would like to establish the chords next. And so here are the chords for the song. We have a D minor 7 flat 5 to a G augmented chord to a C minor 7, okay? And then after that, I'm gonna play an F, 2 over an A, all right? And these are really standard gospel and jazz chords, really. Okay. And so if you want to learn, hey, how do I up my game on the music theory side, playing the piano? That's where I'm struggling with the most. Definitely go ahead and check out my piano courses, where I really dive into a lot of just gospel chord progressions. So I established that, but not only do I establish the chords, I established the melody along with it. That's extremely important because it helps to provide some definition and clarity to those chords. Okay, so here we got this. Okay. All right, and then underneath that, I'm gonna put a pad, and I didn't think about putting pads in lo-fi until I was watching some YouTube videos and I saw some other producers doing it, and I was like, wow, that's cool. So it helps to make it so warm. So listen to those two together. You know, it's very melancholy, and I love it so much. Here we go. So then the next thing really important to me is the bass line. This is the bass line here. And I want to pay attention to something here. The bass line follows this pattern. So it's like, so I'm playing octaves of the D, and I'm sliding on my last D note there. So from C to D, it's a grace note there. If you get to the end of the phrase, you notice that I do something just a little bit different at the end of every phrase. So listen. Watch. Something different again. And I did nothing there, but it's different than what was happening before. All right. So that's my bass. Then from there, I add a lead instrument. I like real instruments. So it's very rare that I'm going to mess with electronic instruments. I don't understand them as well. I would like to. I'm working on that. Actually, I produced the our student choir album, and I wanted to make an 80s album. So I spent a lot of time just trying to understand electronic instruments. But for lo-fi stuff, man, I'm trying to use as much real instruments as possible. It's also just this thing with me where, you know, I really believe in real instruments. And so I just want to use real instruments. So here I'm using a flute. And I think the reason why it works is I think it complements the piano in a way that, for one, it's an octave higher from where I'm playing the melody in the piano. So I'm playing the melody in the piano down here. But I'm playing the flute up here. So it has that separation in the octaves. And I think that's very important for bringing that flute out. Also, the flute is of a different timbre. I don't remember the word. But I just think there's enough contrast there, yet not too out there to complement the piano really well. And then obviously lo-fi, gotta have ambience, brings the music to life. And the ambience here is just a park. I got this from Splice, I believe. And then in addition to the ambience in the park, just thinking through it, I actually didn't want it to have like children in the background playing. I like that a lot, but I didn't want it for this one. And so I just wanted maybe to have a little bit, just but it to feel like we're outside, you know? All right. Then another thing that was really cool in putting this together was this guitar. This was a sample from Splice. This is actually 3 samples from Splice. But it complemented the melody so well. So guitar and when I'm trying to think about guitar and producing, I got a buddy that I send stuff to sometimes. Or I'll try to do it on the piano myself, but if you're trying to get a guitar sound, it's just really tough, I think. I haven't figured it out yet. And so just getting samples often works better, or having someone play is even better. And so that's what I did on that. And then I think about my transitions. So when I'm transitioning into maybe an A section, or think about that as a verse or a chorus, I'm going to use some type of transition. So here I'm using a downer and a riser. If you're playing drums, you may just give a roll and a crash during that time, but that's what I used here. So, and all of that stuff brings it together. And one day, my sons are always in my office. And I have like little instruments for them. I even made them their own studio, but they don't want to be in there. They want to be in here with daddy, and that's fine, half the time. So I decided one day to record one of my sons saying this.
That's my daddy music.
So you'll hear that sometimes on some of my instrumentals. Anyway, you get the whole thing. I'm so passionate about this stuff. It's crazy. So anyway, that's kind of what I've been into. I've actually been into this for a really long time, just doing it for myself. And then maybe, let's say, a year ago, our student choir makes an album every year, and I decided not to use someone else's stems, but to go ahead and create all the stems myself. And that's when I really dived deep into producing an entire track, like, thinking about the different instrumentation and how they work together. And I've been a band director before, so I've had experience from the live perspective, but this has just been opening up my eyes how to do this, using a DAW, that type of thing. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.